What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about Donald Trump supposedly disclosing UFO information sometime in July.
Yeah, I think we've all seen the president's statement to Peter Doocy on the plane and then the truth that he put out. We're going to dig into it. We'd really appreciate if you would like, share, and subscribe.
This is an incredible moment, and it's going to set off a number of processes, and there's a gigantic tug-of-war happening there in the background, and that's why you saw Obama going first, as it were. Obama didn't have to say any of that stuff. He didn't have to say aliens were real at all. But what they did, I think very effectively, was they were neutralizing Trump, and Trump was going to come out apparently in July. Now, his daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, even mentioned this twice before all this happened.
So what he's saying is the reason Obama did what he did on that podcast and said aliens are real was actually try to stop Trump from releasing information in July that he was planning on, but it was supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if that was the motivation behind what Obama said. Somewhere conspiratorially inside of me, I almost feel like that was a setup and they do plan to disclose, but I admit that that's so unlikely. So I really don't know if this was intentional or if this was just a happenstance and Obama screwed up in what he said and Trump took advantage of it. But, you know, I doubt that. And the reason is this isn't the first go around for Obama with "Are aliens real?" I mean, he literally gets asked that question every interview he does. And he's a very practiced liar. So why he said what he said? Well, there's some reason.
Well, in my opinion, I think actually he did it on purpose. And I think it was to force Trump's hand to actually release something. And the reason Obama would want these released as well is to actually distract people from Epstein, because in most of these emails where you have the crazy stuff happening is in a time period that Obama is president, and he didn't arrest him, he didn't go after him, he didn't do anything to him. So he doesn't want to answer any questions when it comes to that, or why he didn't release the Epstein files anyway. He's just like this. The best way for me to do this is change the subject. Let's go to UFOs and aliens.
That is the best theory that I could come up with, or that I've heard. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Going to come out in July and give a speech. A filmmaker in England also started to dime this around to all the various media outlets. So we were hearing this, that he was going to give it on the anniversary of Roswell, saying he was declassifying a number of records. Now, what we have to understand about the UFO file, it doesn't operate the way that it's portrayed in the media at all. It's not like, oh, hey, we can get some records and everything will be great. There's a whole system of control that goes back to the middle of the Eisenhower era. This is what Trump is up against. It's what other presidents have been up against at different times.
This is the heart of the shadow government.
It is, because in the words of Robert Saubarker, who's our top physicist at the time in the 50s and 60s, he said the UFO file is higher than the nuclear secrecy. Well, if we think about...
Just say what you're going to say about the scientists and we're going to go, okay?
Okay. So Dr. Hynek ran Blue Book for an extended period of time, and his job was to basically discredit the small percentage of cases that couldn't be explained. And that's just how Project Blue Book and a bunch of the other military projects or investigations into UFOs have traditionally worked.
The other interesting thing also is Eisenhower. If you do your research on Eisenhower and UFOs, supposedly there's information out there that he met with 4 different races and so on and so forth. And it's come out recently. If you go to, I believe, MUFON, they'll give you information. That is actually a CIA story in order to disinform people that are investigating UFOs and the history of UFOs with presidents, in order to get people on the wrong track of investigating UFOs and make them look like they're crazy. Is pretty much what they're doing. But the thing is, that's interesting is it's based off of a true story where he supposedly left and went to a dentist to get a tooth fix. And the thing is, when you look at his teeth now, there's no evidence that he has teeth fixed at all. Not only that, there was no appointments. There's no evidence that he went and saw a dentist that day. So there's a lot of questions on what happened that day, whether or not some parts of the story is true. We just don't know. And but one thing we do know is the CIA and elements of the deep state and the government will put out disinformation about UFOs and about the presidents like this in order to try to turn public opinion against some of these people that are investigating UFOs.
One little extra detail about Eisenhower and the dentist, they asked the dentist's wife, they interviewed her years later and said, "Did your husband ever fix President Eisenhower's teeth?" And she said, "Absolutely not. He would have told me for sure had the president visited." So one thing we know for sure, Eisenhower wasn't at the dentist.
That we could imagine the kind of secrecy rules that are in place to neutralize when the real facts come out.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the president of the United States.
What was the first question you wanted answered when you became president?
Where are the aliens?
Where are the aliens?
You need both. You need all persuasions. No discrimination.
Something that got a lot of attention this week. Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know?
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
Well,
he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, the president can declassify anything that he wants to, so if you want to make an announcement.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know illegal aliens are real.
Yeah, illegal. Only illegals.
One thing I'd like to say is, even if Trump does declassify everything, here's the deal. These supposed craft, or even just videos and different evidence, they're with private companies. They're with contractors, okay? So no executive order can make private companies disclose things. So that's the real problem here as far as disclosure goes. Now, I'm all in favor of anything we can get to be released, to be released. If you've watched Joe Rogan, and he's had on Eric Weinstein a bunch of times, and it's like Eric Weinstein would say, listen, let's get some of the top minds in the world together. Let's see the evidence. Let us break it down and do the math and come to a conclusion on what we're dealing with here. That never happens. And that is the way that it should be gone about. You put your top guys on it. I'm hopeful that they'll release some videos that the DOD, that the actual government has possession of, and that those videos and other information, radar data, stuff like that, will be able to be mathematically looked at and some conclusions drawn from it. I think that's the best we can hope for, because these private contractors, they're not going to release anything.
I generally agree with you. It really depends on a lot of factors. Like, let's say the Senate and the House decides to make a bill forcing their hand.
Yep.
Then they would have to do it. But I'll also say this, as we've seen with the FBI, as we've seen with the JFK files, MLK files, RFK files, the Russiagate files, Epstein files, all the files, we're not going to get them all. We already know that. And you know why? It's because they're not going to release them all. Even if you make a law, they're not going to do it. I mean, the fact is the JFK Disclosure Act is what, 20-something years old, and they still haven't released them all.
Right.
And now they got Epstein disclosure law. They still haven't released them all. So I tend to believe what's going to happen is they're only going to give you amounts of information that will actually prove their point, and that's for, or give you enough information to maybe get more money into the DoD and to the Pentagon, and that's it. That's all they're interested in. And so I'm a little black pilled on it, guys. I don't think anything's going to be there for you to actually have confident evidence if they are out of this world or if they're demon or whatever they might be. You're not going to have any evidence one way or other. It's going to be pretty much the minutia we've been getting, and it's going to be enough information for them to actually warrant more money to the DoD and to the Pentagon, and that's it. That's all they're interested in.
Yeah, they just let out a little whiff, just enough to get some big name people interested to up the budget. I don't even think that's black pilled, Matt. I just think that's what's gonna happen. It's what always happens with this. But we're in a day and age now where the right videos could really bring a lot of evidence forward. Like there's that Mick West who's a debunker, and the problem always is we don't have all the data. The videos are edited and redacted and all kinds of nonsense. You know what? DoD, put out what you got. Let the top people in the world look at it. That's what I would like to see.
And not only that, it's really in the best interest of, in my opinion, the deep state and both parties in general that they change the subject from Epstein to UFOs. So all of it makes sense to me. But everybody, we want to know what your opinion is. Don't forget, hit that like button, comment, and share this out to everybody.
Thanks for being here.